Hi Taurus, here is a general look at your solar chart for November 2014, and this month all of the signs have a touch of Saturn. And what that means is that this is the month, and the last week of October is the time of the year when the Sun transits through Scorpio, and Scorpio's lodger since October 2012 has been Saturn. So therefore the Sun will go over Saturn. So will the Moon, so will Mercury, and so will Venus. So all of us are going to be bumping up against Saturn. Now remember, Saturn is a planet of challenge and success through meeting challenge and through meeting adversity. Since October 2012, Saturn has been in your opposite sign, Scorpio. So it's kind of been up close and personal in your life. And this current long Saturn cycle is challenging you to learn how to balance your point of view with that of others, even if it means compromise. And you as a fixed sign sometimes don't see that. You see that hanging on and digging in the heels is the way to go, and actually that can get you a long way in the correct circumstances. So as long as it's the correct circumstances, it works, and it works sublimely well. Or should I say supremely well, because digging in your heels about something is perhaps not sublime. I don't know. But at times during this long transit, you will have felt like partners have fallen short of your standards, but also that you're falling short of theirs. Those in close relationship are somehow or other distorting in your view. What you say, what you stand for, what your behavior is, what you did, etc., etc. In other words, you can have felt very frustrated by and sort of hemmed in by another. But also another way this works is that you kind of felt that there is a scarcity, there is a lack in that department, in the area of close, you're not really understood, or there's nobody really close, and you would like that. So in this world of polarization, in this world of duality, if that is the situation with you, then you are building up a huge impulse, a huge pot of desire to rectify that situation. So that'll give you a massive springboard to spring into having just the right sort of association in business or close intimate relationship with someone. So everything is working towards wholeness all of the time. But in a dualistic dimension, a dimension of polarity, we kind of miss that because we get so into and so involved in the scatteredness of the cogs in the wheel rather than the whole of the outcome of the machine. So Saturn has been, putting you between a rock and a hard place in certain, it probably is maybe just one relationship. Now the other side of the Saturn's coin, though, is that it's a great builder. She is the shaper of the future. She is the energy which loves to construct a new structure. And so if you're looking, if your standpoint is, okay, well, that's water under the bridge, now is my turn to create a new structure here in my close relationship area, whether that's in a business professional sense or in a very close sense. And of course the universe will be giving you lots of clues, because there will be changing conditions, and you will look to improve those, improve things from the result of that change in conditions in your close relationship. Then this is your time to move on into new things, because Saturn really, above all else, is the great builder planet. But in order to make the omelette, some eggs have got to be broken sometimes. And sometimes you get a clue because you just know that no matter what you do, this thing that's been going on is just regularly and chronically tiring you out and draining you. However, if that instinct is there, because of course the details of this is impossible for me or any astrologer doing sun sign astrology to know, but the general guidelines are, you'll know whether it's a make situation and you want to formalize things, you want to take on more responsibility in this relationship, you want to take it on your shoulders, or if it's a break situation and it's time to look towards new things. Now, Saturn, as a matter of fact, is about to leave there. It will leave that opposite sign. Some of you will be going, oh, it's about time. Almost at the end of the year, so Christmas Eve, will be leaving your opposite sign, but she will be moving into a different sort of area, but she will be coming back into that area for a few months in 2015. And this month there is a lot of Saturn activity. First of all, we've got look to the second week. Pay attention to the second week, because that's when your ruling planet goes over Saturn, or rather they come together and then they part. Your ruling planet is a lot faster than Saturn, and that's between the 10th and the 14th. And also the third week, just between the 17th and the 19th, when Saturn and the Sun have a little brush with each other. And also most months, in fact all months, the moon goes over the degree of Saturn, but I thought I'd mention it this month because this a general Saturn vibe, which is a vibe of being it's a concentrated energy. It's some would call it a limiting energy. You could call it a highly focused energy. You could call it the energy of rolling up your sleeves and be ready to work at building. And you could find with this long transit of Saturn, there's somebody that you really look up to. It might not be that you're frustrated at all, but it might be that somebody you look, who's more mature than you, who's literally older than you, but who has a knowledge that you aspire to, who can do a thing that you really admire. And that is another way the Saturn transit can be working. But it might be working in the other way that I've said as well, because in fact this is the get real about how I behave in close relationship planet or transit of this planet. So you have to get real and confront yourself about, do I need to clean up my act here? Is it me or is it thee? So anyway, the moon going over Saturn are days when we might feel a bit sort of turned in and sorry for ourselves. Or indeed, if your life is on a real up, then you're probably not even going to notice it. However, I will mention it. So that will be the 7th and the 8th, the 14th and the 15th, the 22nd and the 28th. And on the 22nd, we've got Mercury in there as well. So that might be a day when there's more on your mind. Maybe there's paperwork, maybe there's glitches with travel or transport, or communications equipment, or maybe there's none of it, or maybe there's just a lot of noise off stage like I'm getting now, which I must apologize for, but I'm sure it's not going to be any, you're not going to notice it very much, because the mic is pointing in this direction, but my ears are pointing that way. So this is a very noisy Spanish street that I'm sitting just on the other side of the wall of the street here. So yeah, you might feel a bit like, oh, poor me, nobody loves me on the days that Saturn is going over the moon. But some of that, for some of you, of course, will be in the middle of the night. And then otherwise, we have I think really the times to watch out for mostly are the second week, and maybe your confidence takes a bit of a dip, or you've got to just push harder through, be more formal, be more correct, or you might have to watch your P's and Q's a bit between the 10th and the 14th, and maybe the 17th to the 19th as well, being just keeping a low profile, and not looking to do anything too exciting or dramatic. Just as I say, looking to make the right impression, perhaps. Or it might be financial. It might be something to do with property or possessions or money on those days. Again, not the greatest time to go getting funding on anything or making any major financial property sort of moves. It's just towing the line a bit, really. On the other hand, if it is something that is ongoing, like a project or an artistic thing, then those transits can be quite good, because they say, come on, all you got to do is just push a bit harder, just go a bit further, and then you'll be there. So it might be a bit like that as well, or it might be some other way. But anyway, those are the sorts of examples that pop into my mind. Now, so the sun is going to be in this close or important relationship area, whether that's in an intimate sense or whether that's somebody that you're working with. And that's going to be in there. But at the same time, Venus is going to be in there until the 17th. So the sun is in there until the 22nd, going over Saturn. And Venus is in there until the 17th, going over Saturn. And actually, that really can soften the edges, very much so. And she's strong. Venus is strong in that place there. So you could be feeling a closer rapport with someone. You could be feeling their softness coming towards you, their contribution, their support, or indeed they could be feeling that coming from you. And it's a special someone could be in your life, and you want to benefit, or help them benefit. And it just tends to boost relationships to a degree and helps them to flow more easily. And Mercury, Mercury, as the month kicks off, is focusing your mind upon the practical side of life, duties, the to-do list, and maybe maintenance, repairs, you using skills more or learning skills, you having to do stuff outside, inside, and you could be having more to do with people who have skills or who have expertise or who are service providers, or you indeed are making yourself useful, giving sort of useful suggestions or whatever. Or in fact, you and someone are figuring out how to do things on a practical level. So you're chatting about it. And then between the 9th and the 28th, Mercury is in your opposite sign. So Mercury also comes into the same area with the Sun and Venus, all in the area of Saturn in your opposite sign, transiting Saturn. And where Mercury is until the 9th, that's also you having discussions perhaps, or having thoughts perhaps with health providers as well, and things like therapies and diet and that kind of thing. So all of them, because Mercury leaves there and comes into the area of the Sun and Venus and Mercury, they're all together in that same area there, and you will be bouncing ideas around, probably lots of chit chat going between you and another, sifting things together, sharing, disagreeing, but clarifying through disagreement. And you will be valuing, I think, the input coming from another, but also another could be very much valuing your input until Venus leaves there at least. Somebody may be seeing you as an information giver, a teacher, an advisor, a guide, but also you could be seeing somebody else as that. Venus leaves there on the 17th, but actually goes into an area of emotional depth, which again tends to balance feelings, tends to harmonize things. So she's still softening the area of relationship and relationship interchange, and that's good. But the new area she goes into from the 17th is a good time for you to acquire and use resources in whatever way, and it gives a boost to your material interests, and negotiations could go in your favor with Venus here, depending on your natal chart. And then from the 22nd, the sun comes in here into this house, which is materialistic, but it's also a gear change house. You switching, finally, you letting go, and you switching and going from one stretch of road to the next in your thinking, in your perspective, whatever it is, or it could be to do with finances, it could be to do with the income budget, a contract of some kind, and you deciding what is of most value to you here and what can go. And then from the 28th, Mercury goes in there as well. So very much the thinking and the wheels going around in this transition area that the Sun is in, that Venus is in, and Mercury is in there too. There may be more paperwork perhaps, but communications tend to become deeper and more involved, intense, maybe confidential. And you just must trust that gut. You must trust that intuition of yours to know which is the right way for you to go and what is really, really right. And then Jupiter has begun his new cycle in your home area, highlighting expansion related to the domestic setup, your place on the map, but also allowing you to skip off maybe into an environment which you prefer, which you like better. Some of you may move under this transit, which is there until next August. And outwardly, family and community relationships should improve, or you extend your space somehow, or you jiggle it around so it feels more spacious, or you get somewhere with a better view, or whatever it is. Jupiter is about expansion. So as Jupiter is at the root of your chart, could also be expansion related to family. You may be able to expand because of them, or travel perhaps because of family or extended family or tribe. You Taurians born in the last 10 days or with 19 to 23 degrees rising are going to feel that energy the most. And with Saturn, you Taurians born in the last 10 days or with 23 to 28 degrees rising are going to feel that energy the most. And last but not least, Mars. Mars is actually in a very, very expansive area at the moment, and this is the time for you to get out of the daily grind, get out of the sort of the predictability of that safe little box, think bigger, and perhaps do bigger. So you could be taking a trip indeed, or you could be signing up for activities which are unfamiliar to you, or sort of a course or training which is unfamiliar to you. This would be a good time to learn something new, very much so. And you could be gathering information, you could be learning a lot from somebody who's explaining something to you, or like a teacher or an advisor, or somebody who has an expertise anyway. But also you yourself could be seen as the teacher, advisor, the one with the expertise. And it's a good time to shake out the cobwebs, but it's also a good time to get that, crucial piece of information or set of information that you want. And some of you may be looking into legal issues at this time as well, but it is definitely a time to push the envelope of daily life. And that's it for November. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. And also, if you want to look something up, you can always go to my website, because the bones of what I've just said here is all written up on my website. So you can check that out, and I'll see you the next time.